So it's now my pleasure to introduce our next keynote speaker, Vice Admiral Sousa Pereira, General Commander of the Portuguese Maritime Police.
Good morning to all. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation to be here. And Admiral, also thank you for inviting me here, for being here in your country, and congratulations to your plans in your Navy. We will try to follow you in our Navy too, especially with the submarines. I will lead you to only 2 bullets, but actually I have a lot of slides. I will try to keep it here so you can see me, and I also need to see what is going on behind me so I can keep the pace. I need to get all this in 25 minutes. I'll try to do it. Okay, we will go to the organization for strength. First, a very brief summary about the Maritime Police Organization. For strength, it has to do with boats. We are here to speak and to see about boats, so I will go through our boats. And then in the end, I will have also a brief summary of what we've been doing in Greece and Italy within the Frontex agency operations. Okay, now, the police, the Organization for Strength, the message I want to pass here is that we are a normal organization. We have a central headquarters with all those things that you can see in the slide. But the important part of the Maritime Police is the concentrated structure. We are a specialized police in maritime affairs, maritime issues. We work very near to the maritime communities, and we are very well accepted because we don't only enforce the law, but they know also that we cooperate in search and rescue, so they know when they are in trouble. We are many of the times, we are the ones who go to sea and get them out of trouble. So it is a very liaison. We have a very close liaison with the maritime communities in Portugal. We are not very many people. We have 550 people, around 550 people now. We are 200 people below what we should have, but as you know, we had a crisis in the past years, and admissions and recruiting has been difficult, even for the Maritime Police. Also, although we have a lot of appliances, we are constrained by the government to the number of people we can actually recruit. And we have a SWAT team, we have a forensic divers, and we have around 195 boats. I will speak about the boats a little bit ahead. If we look at the normal, typical Coast Guard functions, and that has been agreed in the Coast Guard Functions Forum, where Portugal, the Portuguese Navy, and the Portuguese Maritime Authority worked last year. We've agreed in about, I think it's 12 typical functions of the Coast Guards. And if we look at all those functions, the Maritime Police participates or collaborates in at least 7 of those functions. So as you can see there, we have executive powers in some of them. We have a supporting role in some of the other parts. I told you about maritime accident and disaster response. We have a supporting role, maritime search and rescue. That's the part where people feel the need of the police. They don't feel the need of the police when we do inspections and this sort of things, but they know we're going to go to sea and save them if they're in trouble. So that's why this has been working. Now, I told you about 195 boats. We have small boats, fast patrol boats, and I hope I don't pass the slide. I'm sorry. This boat here was a boat that we adapt from was an apprehended boat from a drug operations, and we apprehended it so that we transform it in a coastal patrol boat for the Maritime Police. This is the early beginnings. It doesn't have here, we have a small boat here, and we have also a number, the name, and the symbol of the Maritime Police, but this was right at the beginning. I'm going to go very fast, very quickly through some of these boats, the ones that I think are different or are important for us. And I will start with this boat here. This is what we call an amphibious rib. Now, where do you use this rib? This is, this is Portugal here, and we have the Madeira Archipelago. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Madeira Archipelago. It's around, as you can see there, 525 nautical miles away from Portugal mainland, and 135 miles south of the archipelago, Madeira Archipelago, there are two small islands we call the Salvagem Islands. Now, the Salvagem Islands is a protected, how do you call it, ambient protected archipelago or island, and we had a lot of problems there. Boats going there for fishing, for doing some, well, we needed to control that. So we created a maritime post in the Salvagens. Now, the Salvagens are a very rocky islands. They don't have much there. They have a lot of birds. And as you can see, we have the, in the Salvagem Islands, the marine post, the maritime police post, the access to the maritime post is through a ramp. It's a very stiff ramp. And also, the weather there is not very good very often. Although it's a little bit south, the weather is rough. So we needed to have a boat that could easily come from the sea and go up the ramp. We had a normal rib there, and it was very difficult to do the maneuver to stop the rib near the ramp and then put it on a wheel and take it up the ramp. So the solution was to get this amphibious rib, as we call it, and that's what we're using there. You can see the rib there coming normally. This rib can go up to 35 knots, and it's very useful for interception. We have a radar there and a camera, so we can actually monitor what's going around the islands and react very quickly to anything that we need. So you can see there that the rib can sail normally and then goes up the ramp with the wheels that they have. This is another perspective, and as you can see, it has 3 wheels, and that was a very, very swift solution for us to get a boat there and easily operate it. It was, like I told you, it was a very difficult maneuver to get the boat from the water to the ramp, and it was danger for the people that was managing this. So this was a very nice solution that you have. It's a different boat. We're talking about boats here, so here you have a different boat. Now, we have the Madeira Archipelago in the south, but we also have the Azores Archipelago in the north. And it's about 780 miles from Portugal mainland. It has 3 groups of islands. We call it East, Central, and Western group of islands. And we recently acquired 3 boats that we've put there. These boats are normal ribs. You have there the characteristics. We just, I think I went to the Azores about 1 month ago to deliver the boats there. You know, it's always a big party with government officials going there and signaling that we have new boats in the Azores. But actually, it was an added value for the Azores, the maritime police in the Azores. These are other characteristics of the boats. They go up to 37 knots. But what was important with these boats there is that we got a range of operation that was very important for us, because in the Azores you have a lot of spots where we have fishery, we have how do you call it? I'm sorry, I'm missing the word. Cruzeiros científicos. No, it was, you know, surveying the ground of the ocean, scientific survey of the ground of the ocean. You have a lot of those things there. And we have, like the Admiral said, we need to have a constant presence there. Now, with these boats, as you see, we have one in that's what I call the eastern part of the island. It's 2 islands and 2 small islands. We have the central ones and we have the eastern ones. So what we've achieved now is that we can cover up to 100 nautical miles of radius, and we can, it's flexible because any of these boats can go from one side of the archipelago to the other. This is what we achieved in the central part of the archipelago, and that's the third one. So we've achieved to have a full coverage of the archipelago with these 3 boats, so it was added value to the maritime police there. Now, participation in the Frontex operations. We are now in 2 different spots. We are in Greece, in the island of Lesbos. This is the boats that we have there. We got 2 of these boats there. They go up to 32 plus knots. So that's the main characteristics of the boats. And this is the people that we have there, the 4 strengths. We have 13, it's a 13-person team. And we have 2 crews. And we also have a coastal surveillance vehicle. Now, this is our area of operations. What I wanted to show you here is that we are between, it's a 6-mile gap between Greece and the island and the coast of Turkey. And we have an area to patrol there. The way we're doing this is we use the coastal surveillance vehicle together with the boat. So they're normally poising there to save fuel, and they will be directed by the guys on the surveillance vehicle. It has an infrared camera and it has a search radar. So it has been a very successful combination, what we're doing there. And we have the figures here. We've been there since 2014, not every time since 2014, but every year, at least 6 months a year. And those were these are the numbers that you see. You know the problem in Greece, you got the problem with the migrants, so that's what we've been doing. Now this last year, this is what has been happening. There's still a lot of migrants there, not as many as in 2016, but still, we've got a lot of incidents happening there. We also had a lady police, maritime police, working as an expert in fingerprinting registration at some time. So you see in the maritime police, you have different specializations. You have a broad range of action that we can participate. And I spoke to you about, in the beginning, about the SWAT team. And we have one of our SWAT teams now in Italy, Brindisi. They're not doing border control. They're fighting criminal activities at sea. So that's why some of the information, it's not disclosed. I cannot tell you what has been the success. Now we've been there now this year since May, I believe. We're going to be there for 4 months. Now, what have we achieved, or what's the added value of the small boats in the maritime police? We've spoke about environment, we spoke about characteristics and strategy. I will not speak about strategy now because I'm in the maritime police. I spoke about strategy when I was in the Navy headquarters. But then again, you look at the characteristics of the operational theaters nowadays, and I say these theaters are valid for the maritime police and for maritime security operations, or for whatever the Admiral said, all the different situations. So actually, we think about unpredictability because we don't know where and when things are going to happen next. So we don't know. We think about uncertainty because we don't know what is going to happen, how things will develop. If you think about what happened in the past, all those terrorist events, they have been different all over the place. And we were surprised at some of them. Now, we've been doing a lot of work, and police has doing a lot of work with cooperation and interagency cooperations. And we've been successful in anticipating some of these things. But still, we don't know for sure that we're going to be able to anticipate everything. And the other thing, and the Admiral already mentioned that things are interrelated. I normally say that it doesn't matter where it happens, when it happens, and if we're not even if we are not directly involved, we're going to be affected at some stage. So there is at least a moral obligation for us to participate in whatever happens. And that's why we have the immigrant crisis in Greece, in the Mediterranean, in the sea. It's a little bit away from Portugal. We don't have a migrant problem in Portugal, but we are participating in the solution because at some stage we might be affected. Now, what we achieve with small boats. Now, those are the boats in Greece. We can keep these boats in high readiness, and they are fast. They are ready to deploy, so we can act promptly. Now, when we do this, if we are ready, we can respond with readiness to unpredictability. So if you don't know about where and when things are going to happen, you have to be swift to react. The Army already told us that. Now, one other thing is, and you can see in the pictures, what we do with these boats. We can do surveillance and interception, we can do poisoning patrol, we can transport people, we can assist people, and get a lot of different pictures there of what we've actually been doing in Greece. That is multitasking. Now, multitasking tells us that the boats are flexible. Flexibility is the way to answer to uncertainty, okay? So we can actually have a good response with these sort of boats for what they can do to another challenge of the operational theater. And last but not least, these boats are small, they are easy to deploy, we transport them aboard a huge ship. We have a maintenance container that we can also transport. We do small maintenance works in Greece. Actually, the container is at the hotel where our people are staying, and any shipyard can do repairs on these sort of boats. It does not have to be a very complex shipyard. So you have all this thing, easy to deploy, undemanding maintenance and repair. This will give us a pretty good chance of sending these boats wherever we need it. So we have also range and sustainability. So that's the way to respond to this interrelated reaction and say that we can act wherever we are needed to do that. So we could see that these boats are really the response for the maritime police to all this challenge that we face today in the operational theaters. And I will end up now with this last slide. I come from the frigates world, okay? I'm a Navy officer, I come from the frigates world, but even bigger vessels operate high-speed boats, so it has to work something for the high-speed boats. Thank you very much.